And welcome to another edition of Thoughts the Roundtable with me, Matt Rebar.
And me, Paul Laux.
And you caught us on a special day. Speaking of special day, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking only exclusively about the breaking news here in Cleveland. The Cleveland Indians, our MLB team, has finally decided to change their name to the Cleveland Guardians. And they had a whole video with Tom Hanks and Black Keys. They have logos. They have mottos.
I thought that was funny, by the way, that it was Tom Hanks. What was the Cleveland connection with him?
That's the thing. He
I don't remember
was
what
here.
it was.
He did theater here. So he did live in.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, he did Shakespeare theater at the Great Lakes Theater, and I remember that because
I feel like
that's a trivia
question
that I wrote. Yeah, I know. I mean,
kind of like the name itself, the Guardians. It's a weak connection.
Listen, I know we don't have too many giant Cleveland celebrities, but like Machine Gun Kelly was not available for the call.
Oh, that's a good. Well, maybe he didn't like it.
Drew Carey, is he not available for the call?
Maybe he didn't like it.
I'm trying to think who else. That's really that's my limitations. But let me start. Well, you know what,
LeBron.
Paul, let's give Paul the floor first, because Paul, I know you have a huge history with this baseball team. Mm-hmm. So kind of you could give us a little overview and then give your opinion about the change and all that jazz.
All right. Well, everyone knows that they've been looking to change the Indians. I don't know when they want to do this. There's always kind of rumors ever since even when the old owner, Shapiro, was around. And way back in the early 2000s, there was like rumblings of it, but nothing ever materialized. And so now, obviously, well, the thing that surprised me is the trajectory, I guess, of how this thing happened. So for even up to last year, they were really kind of like, we're not changing the name. We're not doing all of that. We're just going to leave it the way it is. And I believed it because I think truthfully, I always thought they wanted to sell the team. And even now, I think this might be sell bait. Because now that there's no controversy with the name. And so they think it's more likely to sell it most likely to Nashville and Justin Timberlake. That's really who they think wants to buy it. He's asked a million times, but anyways, so then earlier this year, they're like, okay, we are going to change the name. And they caused all that, outroar and all that kind of stuff and uproar. And then it went to, well, we can't find a name. And so then it was like, we can't really find a name that we like. And I remember they threw out a couple ideas that they were throwing around. And one was the Cleveland Citizens. The one was the Clevelanders. And one was the Cleveland baseball team. I was like, we are going to dish the Indians thing for the dumbest name on the planet. I just had it in the back of my head. And even Guardians, I was like, so, because we got a couple, stupid statues in the corner that one's holding a train. It's like, what are our roads suck anyways. Our transportation in Cleveland blows anyway. It's one of the worst. What do you have, an RTA day? Anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic. But then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we decided on a name, but we don't know we're going to say it. And then also it was like the next day that they announced it. So it was very kind of like knee jerky all over the place. My thoughts on it. I've been a huge Indians fan since I was a kid. And I think it's a lie, truly, for anyone to say that they're not disappointed with the name change, even to a small degree. I think it's a lie. I think everyone, at least who's been like a native of Cleveland through the years, you're lying to yourself that there's a little bit of you that's say, I'm totally not disappointed. There's going to be, because there's a nostalgia factor for it. And it is a team that's over 100 years old. There is that behind it. The intentions that they initially, I think we've strewn away from, but there was that behind it. My general feelings of it is, truthfully, I don't really have the mental and emotional bandwidth to get really amped up on it like most people do. I truly don't. And I kind of knew it was coming. So it was just one of those things that, I was expecting. My issues with it is that it's such a weak connection to Cleveland, the Guardians. The name itself just sucks. It really does. I mean, other than the 4 statues we have under the bridge that barely anybody uses, that's basically it. And granted, none of the names that we, suggested, we couldn't do the Spiders because someone has a trademark on that they won't sell. We can't do the Cleveland Rockers for 2 reasons. There was a WNBA team that was named that, and the MLB actually said no because of the Rockies. So basically, we were left with the Guardians, which I feel was like the CD choice, even for the Dolans. And it's just, but it's just a weak name at best. There's no real connection to anything at all. And the funny thing about it is, and I'm sorry I'm going a long tangent, I'll let you just take over because these are just my ideas, my general ideas. We'll get
I'm
into
trying to be polite because usually what we do is we speak for 20
Right.
seconds and then the other
Right.
one cuts in. But
Well,
give it your spiel. Do your spiel.
I'll give my spiel and then
Yeah.
I'll
Your
you,
opening
I'll let
argument,
you-
my opening
Yeah.
argument, counter. It'll be very professional.
The funny thing about it is, and the designs I actually really like, I really enjoy them. But the funny thing about it is, I don't think they're any less like offensive than what we had, because if you look at the lettering of the Guardians versus the Indians, that quite literally is the same thing. They're just changing the letters. It goes from Indians to Guardians. That's basically the same. The C is very, very reminiscent of the C back in the 80s and 90s, the tribal C, and the G with the baseball in it. People have already mentioned how that looks like Indian feathers. So in a weird way, we really didn't change much at all. And I see that, and the thing is, I do like the designs. The G's, I've gone back and forth. My knee jerk to it was that I really enjoyed it. I've shifted a little bit, but maybe not so much. I think it's good. But I don't know if it really improved much if you're going to the basic feel of it, because the feelings of this design work is the exact same. And I just don't know. I like I'm glad they kept the colors, and I'm glad, the designs aren't trash. The name just sucks though. It does. It's a terrible name. I'm not even really that truly upset about the Indians name changing. Rebranding happens. I mean, it's disappointing to a degree because I grew up with the team, but I'm not one of those people who's like, I'm still going to go to the games next year. I'm still going to buy all the merch and stuff like that. But the name sucks. And we all know that it just sucks. Mm-hmm. So that's my take on it. That I'm not really, upset, it's disappointing to a degree, but it is what it is. I'm not going to go cry over it, but man, the name just blows. The new name sucks. So that's my spiel.
Let me start by saying, in my opening argument, I think any name would have been better than Cleveland Indians. I remember from a young age understanding, oh, this is not right. This is grody, especially the Chief Wahoo thing. And, for people who say tradition, there are a lot of things that were traditional, like slavery, or, poor people on the streets not receiving, any sort of help or, safety nets. Those were traditions, right? That just because something's traditional doesn't mean that we should accept it. And actually, not to plug my next album, Paul, but one of my favorite quotes from the next album is, if society can make it, we can unmake it. Just because the team's 100 years old and has been the Cleveland Indians doesn't mean that we have to, it's been that way and it will always be that way. Now, change is good. I was excited for this change. It could be the Cleveland trash bags. It could be the Cleveland recyclables. It could be the Cleveland algae bloom on Lake Erie. It could have been anything and it would have been better. So that being said, I think I agree with you. This was definitely not a top option. But that being said, I think they really could have done a better job looking for more names. From a Cleveland perspective, are the Guardian statues cute and are they Cleveland? Yes. Everyone in Cleveland, for the most part, I think kind of knows the Guardians. But I'm just trying to think of, okay, let's say there's someone in San Fran, there's someone in Florida. What is the Guardians as an imagery? Like, they're probably like, I don't know, that's kind of lame. I would have preferred a name that just sounded good on a national scale. I don't think Guardians is that name that really like, ooh, what a cool name, right? That being said,
see, that is the thing that leads me to believe it was kind of sell bait, because they knew the Dolans knew they weren't going to be able to sell the team as the Indians. They would, no one would buy that. Mm-hmm. And so, because it's just the controversy with it. To a place like Nashville, though, maybe, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But
that being
so, they knew they had to change it to something.
Yeah. Well, let me continue my opening argument because I listened to you, Paul.
I thought there was an air break. I thought you had a break.
No, I'm almost there. I know you seem a little bit more into the graphics than I am. Let me start by saying, the only graphic I like is the G with the baseball and the Guardian wing kind of feather imagery. That is the only graphic I like. And let me go through and let me tell you why I don't like the others. The Guardian script logo, I know you said it's practically the same as the Indians. It's different. It's a different font and it's a hideous font. It is like a free font that they got for like cheap. It is like the Walmart knockoff of the Indians font. I would have rather them use the font that they had Indians in just as Guardians, 100%. You know, when I think of Guardians, I think of, you know, the 1920s, the Art Deco, and there's so many graphic artists out there who went with that style, and it looks so much better as a font because it really buys into that kind of retro new age 1920s modern look. That font is just hideous. It is like the art teacher who like couldn't get hired by any school district. It's like the paint, you know, the graphic designer who works in Microsoft Paint did that. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. As for the new Block C, there's just, I usually love asymmetry. There is something about that weird little doohickey at the top of the top part
At
of
the top of the C
that I just, it makes me, it just does not, it messes with me. If you got rid of that, I think I would have been more fine. But part of me is like, why just keep, they could have just kept the original Block C. You know, to me, it's like this change just feels like, well, we have to change it, not necessarily changing it for the better. As for the font in the Cleveland 216 font, what kind of bad tattoo art job font is that?
Can I say one thing though?
No, not yet. Not yet. Okay. You'll save it. You'll get there.
Well, I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you for that. Yeah. I just want to say a joke real quick.
It looks like, okay, say your joke.
It looks like a bodybuilder when they have intensity tattooed across their neck.
Yes, or like no regrets. It looks like a prison tattoo.
At least that's alternate. That's the alternate.
Well, it should be alternately let go. That's what I mean. They shouldn't even, if they need to use that alternate, then they should just be naked at that point. I think it looks terrible. I think it looks like and here's the thing. The only thing tying those four images together, honestly, is the color scheme. That's what's worrisome. If you're going to have them, if you're going to have fresh logos, you're going to have the alternate logo, you're going to have secondary logos. It should look like a collection. The only thing this has as a collection is the color, and it has a collective hot mess look. The only thing I would have kept, honestly, would have been the G with the baseball and little wings and the feather, the Guardian statue piece. That looks great. And what's weird to me too, let me add this. The G in the baseball with wings logo is different from the G that's in the regular logo. And I think had they pulled the font that they used in that G, I want to see what that font looks like, because that is a different font, I believe. I'm pretty sure, because look at the way the G is shaped differently on those two Gs.
It's the same. It's just like italics. It's the same kind of.
I don't know. It could be a version. It could be a different version. I'm not sure, but I would like to see what that Guardians would look like in that font, because that, like I said, that atrocious font, I can't get over it, Paul. It just looks cheesy. It looks like an 80s sitcom intro. Like da, 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 the Cleveland Guardians.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, please.
Are you done? Are you done?
I'm for now.
Yeah. Okay. From the design aspect of it, I think I know what they're trying to do, in that they were trying to not completely go away to something, because it's very obviously the Guardians. We both know that's the Indians logo. It's a different font. Yeah, it's okay, but that's the word. That's how they did it. Even the S. The S is the same damn thing. The C is very reminiscent of the old 80s and 90s C. I think that's where they kind of drew it from, with that very, zigzaggy C. The G is brand new with the wings, obviously, but even that has very weird throwbacks to the feathers and stuff, which a very interesting way to go. And then the Cleveland 216, if you look at the old Spiders font, that's the font. That's basically the font they used when they were the old Cleveland Spiders in the late 1800s. So maybe that's what they were kind of trying to do. I was kind of in disagreement with you until you said that they don't look at like a cohesive piece, and they don't. They really don't. And I'll agree to that they kind of do look like, but I feel like what they were trying to do is, and maybe I'm just thinking way too deep. I don't know. They were trying to draw back from different eras of the Indians and kind of match it to their styles. Maybe that was the thought process. I don't know, but I do want to show you one thing.
Please do.
I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, please. Quick. Yeah, I'll stop sharing. I will say, Paul, too, one thing is, I think that is a good point. I think that they wanted to make that adjustment like as painless as they could, because obviously there's going to be, the people like, where's my Cleveland Indians gone? How dare they? There was going to be.
Did you see that sheriff who posted that he feels hopeless? I'm like, buddy, get some hope.
Oh my God. Please. Seriously.
Like, you know how long I thought about this? Was disappointed. About an hour.
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
This guy, to write a letter to your city and say you feel hopeless, like, buddy, please
Like take
help.
it, at least the
Like,
drama. It looks like the drama is still being funded in that town, wherever he's from, but the drama program is alive.
It is a baseball team.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
I do agree though, with that point being, this transition is kind of easier, I think, because you're keeping that color scheme, and there is similarities to the past and the different ways that they're kind of re-showing that. But again, they had the chance to really blow us away, and I don't think they did. And I think people who were stubborn, they're just not going to get into it no matter what. My team's the Cleveland Indians no matter what. People who were on the fence, I think if they had been blown away by like a cool name, cool look, new kind of graphics, a whole new spiel, a new start, almost
they should have just ripped the Band-Aid, said all new colors, we're just going away from it, forget that. That would have been better.
That might have been more effective, and I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the marketing research that they've done shows that this is their best route, but I don't know.
There's a thought there. I kind of see where you come from, because like how it's now, it's almost like teasing you of what the past was like a little bit, bit of how close things are. I do want to show you this though, because this was people have been designing stuff for years for the Indians ever since the rumblings of this came about, and the Guardians was always kind of one of the front runners. Why, I don't know. Again, I think it's a piss poor connection to the city at best. Like I said, I still think we should have an RTA night where nothing works and like the seats are just puked on.
Yeah.
But anyways, I want to show you this. You have it disabled.
Oh, let me see if I can let multiple let me try multiple advanced sharing. Oh, it's not saying I can. Oh no. Wait, here we go. All participants. How about try it now? See, little behind the scenes. Okay, Paul, let me see what you got.
Okay, I want to share this because this I want to see what you think about this. This was one of the top designs from about a year ago that surfaced. And can you see this?
That is exactly when I talked about the font. That is definitely a better font.
So this is, I want to get your thought. There's a bunch of this. This would have been the primary logo. Okay.
So because this is still a podcast, let me kind of explain what we're looking at. We're looking at kind of the face of a Guardians, very kind of Greek art demo.
Still very like Native American-ish though. Can we admit that?
I mean, I don't see that. I can see how you see that. I mean, when I think it looks very more like Metropolis, the German robot movie. That's more of the vibe I get. In terms of the font, the Cleveland is kind of like a standard typewriting font. I don't love that. But the Guardians font kind of looks like this superhero. It's bold. It's like very like ta-da. I like that. I actually don't mind that. I definitely prefer that, I would say.
Okay. It is pretty nice. And it's the same colors. Moving on. These are the logos.
Yeah, showing that logo and the different, and that
this would have been the secondary logo with the C and the G nested in it.
The C and the G nested in actually is kind of cool. I don't know how that plays. I'd kind of have to see it with, I think, the other logos, because that's something you think about is the secondary logo next to the primary logo. How does that look? And they're in this demo pitch, they're using the red, white, and blue. I mean, and again, is that the best color scheme for the Guardians? Not sure, but it looks crisp. I think it looks pretty crisp.
And this would have been the caps.
I wonder if that's too many. So the caps that they're showing, there's the one that's the C, and then there's the CG with an outline on the CG, and then there's a CG with an outline kind of shape around it. That looks a little crowded. I think it looks a little crowded.
This one is a little too little, actually.
Yeah, their block C, I don't enjoy their block C, but
okay. Yeah, and this would have been the font. But this, you have to admit, this is pretty sweet right here.
I think that looks better. I think, like I said, I think probably a lot of, if you just Google Cleveland Guardian mock-ups, I think most of them are going to look better. So I guess last thoughts, Paul.
You want my last thoughts?
Yeah, last thoughts.
Again, I think anyone, who's loved the team for as long as I have will be lying if they say they're not disappointed to a degree. If that's 1 out of 10, if that's 0.5 out of 10, whatever, you're lying to yourself because it's just natural, with anything ending. And that's not necessarily saying you're anything, about the Native American thing. It's just nostalgic. Everyone's going to be sad when something ends. It's natural and it's okay. So yes, I'm disappointed that the Cleveland Indians name will be changing. It's what I grew up with. Am I really upset about the new name? No. The only thing that I am upset about is that the name sucks. It is a god awful name. If they would have picked something else that tied better to the city, or just something cooler. The Guardians is lame. It's a weak connection to the city at best, and it's just lame. It's 4 stupid statues on a bridge nobody goes on and nobody cares about. And plus, it's the Guardians of Transportation. Cleveland public transportation sucks. It is awful. It is hot garbage and nothing to be proud of. So if we're going to name our team after that, good freaking luck. We're going to be hot trash. What are you going to do? Have people just puke on the seats, like I said, or nothing works. It's broken all the time. That's where it's the name blows. I'm honest to God, more upset about how crappy the new name is. It's awful. It's not even the name change. It's just such a trash name. I'm okay with the designs. It's not bad. I like how they did some throwback stuff. And it really, I'm a solid 7, 8 out of 10 on it. But the name sucks. We all know the name sucks. And that's it. That's how I feel. So whatever. I'm still gonna go to the games. I'm still gonna buy their merch. I was gonna be like, you could have been more creative, assholes. All right, come on, let's go.
My final thoughts. I think, and like I said, any name's better. No doubt about that. However, I think they had a moment to really rejuvenate this franchise. They had a moment to really wow us and whoa, like look at this, and it just was underwhelming. It's kind of like when you want to see like U2 in concert, and then instead of U2 they're like, U2 couldn't make it, here's like local rock bands that didn't win Battle of the Bands at their high schools. And
or it's like when it's like when you go to see U2 and you're like, hell yeah, and they're like, we're gonna play nothing but B-sides. It's like, are you serious?
We refuse to play the singles. The name for me is kind of, it's middle of the ground. It's meh. I think the graphics are especially troublesome. If I could convict, I would convict these graphics 4 to 6 years. They have to serve all 6 years. That like there's no early parole for these graphics. I don't know who did them. I don't know if it was in-house or if they went to a marketing firm. If they went to a marketing firm, that marketing firm, I have questions. I want to roll into that marketing firm right now because this is a mess. I'm sorry. It just is. The only thing that binds these images together is the color scheme. Otherwise, if we had changed the colors on all of them, if we did 4 different colors, it would not look like a collection. I'm telling you right now. And I'm not trying to be all swanky with my graphic design knowledge. At best, I'm like a light intermediate graphic designer, not even maybe. But oh my gosh, what a letdown. And next time you want a free font, just go to defont.com. They have thousands of free fonts that you could have used for free, and yet you chose that font. And also, 3, next time this kind of thing happens in general, look to your city's graphic designers, because between the one that Paul showed us just now and the other 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 I've seen who are local citizens, excellent graphic designers with great ideas, we could have had something good. I might not have loved the name, but I might have loved the graphics. Guess what, Guardians? I don't. The end. Little rant there.
Oh, man. Well, we're still going to suck, probably. Our team sucks.
Oh, man. I mean, no matter what, I know our chances are probably pretty slim. So, well, that's been a spicy hot take on design and name choice, and just 2 Cleveland boys, getting into it. But
I think they're going to sell the team now.
I mean, you know what? That's above my knowledge. That's above my pay grade.
I'm thinking no now, but
I mean, I don't think so. I feel like
generally you and I feel like, are on the same page. We're like, you could have, it's like whatever with, the change, but you blew it. You kind of blew it.
I mean,
we all know that.
I don't know. Maybe we're just cocky. Maybe we're stupid. I don't know. I just think I look.
Oh, I know I'm stupid. But
I mean, have you listened to this podcast, Paul? It's really stupid at the time.
Hey, a solid 15 people have. So
hey, we're at like 60, 70 subscribers. I think we're
nice.
We're not too bad. We're not. There's some people out there who listen. Actually, shout out real quick if he hears it. My boss, I was in his car. I was getting a trip basically somewhere with my boss. So jumped in my boss's car, and randomly, I think, you know how like sometimes when the Bluetooth connects, it'll just randomly play something. We get in the car and it pulls up our podcast, and I go, "Oh my gosh, Scott, you listen to this podcast?" He goes, "Yeah, I do. You know, I love it," or whatever. And then I noticed the episode was the political one, and I'm like, "Oh, Scott,
Which one? We've done a couple of those.
the last one that was really political." And I go, "Oh, Scott, I don't know if you're gonna like this one." He goes, "No, I like hearing your different opinions." And that was it. And I was like,
I mean, your wrong opinion and my right one.
So, anywho, shout out to Scott for listening. I mean, not to be like emotional about it, but I do appreciate people who take their time with us. It means a lot. And I love doing this no matter what, because this is Paul's and I way of hanging out.
Next step cameo, $2.50. I'll say your grandma's birthday. That's $2.50, by the way, not $250. Tell you Nana's birthday. All right, we're done.
We're done. We're out of here. Peace out.
Later.